This is a SWOT assessment for bouldering assignment 19.1 by Joe Webben. Firstly, I'm going to take you through the strengths and weaknesses that I thought I had within bouldering. I formed an overall assessment table of my strengths and weaknesses within bouldering. Some of these include, firstly, three of my strengths were stepping on walls, changing feet, and my hand-eye coordination. My weaknesses were smearing, sloppers, down climbing, flagging. I'm now going to talk you through a detailed analysis of the strengths and weaknesses that I thought I had within rock climbing and what these skills actually are. The first skill that I was taught was using your toes to get onto the rocks. This is where you take your first step onto a rock wall and position yourself to climb. It is important to use your toes as this is where the power from your legs has to be generated to push myself up and to start to climb. Another skill I will be assessing is flagging. This is where you must move your trailing leg across the inside behind your leg to move along the wall. I found this skill to be difficult because I was slow at moving across with my legs, so I would lose momentum and balance. Another skill that I will be assessing is smearing. This is where you rub your toes against the wall to create heat friction so that your feet can have a little bit of grip when moving from rock to rock. I found this to be a weakness of mine because I could not create grip and kept finding myself slipping if there was not a rock to grip onto. A skill that I was good at was changing feet. This is where you place your feet in the right place on the rock to give you the best possible power and balance from the legs. I found this to be one of my best strengths by shuffling my feet while on the rock till I have found the best possible position. The next skill I will be accessing is agility. Although I was relatively quick at the beginning of the climbing, as it got higher I found myself longer to complete each movement from rock to rock. Therefore my agility was poor, whereas if I had good agility I would have been able to move from rock to rock quicker and I would have therefore been able to complete the climbs more easier. When you are rock climbing, having a good hand-eye coordination is essential. Hand-eye coordination is the ability to use your hands and sight together to carry out actions with speed and accuracy. I found that this was one of my strengths, of where I was quick up the walls and put my hands in the right place when climbing. However, a skill that there was some room for improvement was my upper body strength. At the beginning of the session my upper body strength was good and I was pulling myself up the walls effectively. However, as the session went on I began to fatigue and I was not able to pull myself up the wall. So there I would just be stuck in one place and wouldn't be able to progress any further up the wall. Therefore in turn I would just end up falling off the wall. The skill that I struggled with the most was sloppers. These are rocks onto the wall that do not have grip holes and so require a stronger grip hand and the right technique to grip onto. I was able to grip onto sloppers properly and I had to avoid using them when climbing. The final skill that I was assessing is my ability to climb down the walls. I found this skill quite difficult and often got low enough onto the wall so that I could jump down. This was not good because it could have left me at risk of injuring myself. I'm now going to move on to the opportunities that there are for me to be able to improve my bouldering ability. From forming an assessment of the strengths and weaknesses in climbing, it is clear to see that there is a lot of improvements that need to be made. There are a variety of different ways that I can do this to improve my skill. The college will book us to return to the climbing centre where we'll get to complete an open session with an instructor present. This will give us a chance to practice the areas of climbing that we felt we were poor at and receive help and advice from the instructor. You can also attend a taster session. A taster session will allow you to have further practice at climbing and will give you a chance to practice your skills again on the climbing walls. By there being reduced fees for starters, it will also enable me to be able to go and practice on the walls at the climbing centre for a cheaper price. You can also attend climbing open session. An open session is where you can go to climb freely in the climbing centre within a group that is coached by an instructor. By attending these sessions, it will allow you to develop and improve my skills. Also, you may benefit from learning from others around you as well as the instructor. You can also book into a one-to-one session with an instructor where you can have an hour or so with the instructor, and it will allow you to work one-on-one with the instructor, and you can pick up on specific tips and clear instructions with him. You can also work on specific things with him that you need improving, e.g. sloppers. Another way that you can improve your climbing ability is by watching skill-specific videos. This will allow you to gain specific knowledge and will allow you to further your knowledge in how to perform certain skills correctly. You could also perform skill-specific training, for example working on your agility, as it is essential to have good agility when you are climbing to be able to move quickly in between the rocks so that you do not end up hanging there for too long and end up becoming fatigued. In order to improve on my upper body and lower body strength, I can also get a gym membership, or if I cannot afford a gym membership, I also know that there are facilities within my college that I can use. I'm now going to move on to the threats that there are from, or like, should we call them the barriers that there are to me to be able to complete all of the things that I just mentioned. As you can see, there are a lot of ways in which you can improve your bouldering ability. However, there are a lot of significant barriers that could prevent you from being able to do this. These include time. You may not have the time to be able to go and complete this training program because you might not be able to fit around your college timetable or activities that you do outside of college. So, for example, I play football 3 times a week, and I also try and go to the gym 4 times a week. So therefore, I probably do not have the time to be able to go into the bouldering centre in Brighton to be able to complete all of these activities, or like watch videos at home, as I also have college work to do. Also money. The cost of paying for an open session or a one-on-one session is a lot, and some people may not have the money for it. If you cannot access these facilities, then it is very difficult to improve. Distance. You may live far away from the climbing centre, therefore you may not have the time to be travelling there and back. So for example, I live in Rodmell, which is just outside of Lewes, and the bouldering centre's in Brighton. So if I booked a one-on-one session for 10 o'clock on a Saturday morning, I highly doubt I'd be able to get there, as I know that my parents do go out, so I wouldn't be able to get a lift, and I cannot drive yet. Travel, as I literally just mentioned, as you live far away, the travel may be expensive, so you also may not be able to afford it, or it's just too far away, so you might not be able to get there. I'm now going to be talking you through my development plan that I have. I'm now going to be taking you through my development plan that I have created to help me improve my bouldering skills. In order to improve my bouldering skills, I have developed a 6-week plan where I've decided on different activities to help me to improve my skill set. My first session is a one-on-one session where I will practice specific skills that I feel that I need to improve on. For example, in my strengths and weaknesses, I found that one of my weaknesses was smearing, so I can ask him for tips on how I can perform and then practice the skill with his support. During the session, I can also pick up on specific tips and clear instructions from the instructor, which I believe will improve my climbing ability massively. Also, I will also complete just a simple climb, and then I will get him to watch me, and then I will get him to form feedback on the things that he thought I did well, and on the things that he thought I could have improved on. My next session will be where I will watch videos on specific skills within bouldering and make notes on how I can learn and perform these skills. Following me watching the videos, I will now attend an open session where I can now put these skills into practice that I've learned from my one-on-one session and from watching the skill specific videos. By me attending the open session and being able to it allows me to be able to practice the skills further that I've learned, and it will enable me to develop and improve my skills. In the second week of my development plan, I have decided to perform an upper body training day because within my strengths and weaknesses I found that one of my weaknesses was my upper body strength. When bouldering, having good upper body strength is essential because you need to be able to hold your body up on the rocks, or else you will just fall off. Within this gym workout, I perform pull-ups, T-bar rows, shoulder press, bicep curls and lat pull-downs. These exercises are mainly aimed to improve back and arm strength, as these are two of the muscles that I use the most when bouldering, as you are required to pull yourself up using your upper body strength. In my second session of the week, I decided to perform a grip dynamometer test and an agility based session. Grip strength is essential when bouldering, as you are literally having to hold your body up using your grip and your upper body strength. I found that midway through my bouldering session, my fingers and grip was really starting to ache because they were becoming fatigued and sore. So therefore I've decided to perform the grip dynamometer test to practice on my grip strength. Agility is also another essential part to rock climbing, as you must be agile and light on your feet when jumping between pivots. Within my agility session, I will be performing speed ladders, plyometric jump box drills, and tuck jumps. My final session of the week will be another one-to-one session where I'll be working on specific skills that I worked on in the last session, and I'll be looking to ensure that I've mastered the skills that I worked on in my last session, as well as starting to work on new skills with the instructor and ask him for feedback at the end of the session on what he thought I did well and what he thought I can improve on. In my first session of week 3, I'll be performing a lower body training day in the gym. Having a good lower body when bouldering is essential because you need to be able to have good strength in your legs to be able to push yourself upwards to go higher on the wall. I found that when I was attempting the harder climbs, where I was relying on my legs to push me over to the next pivot, I was not able to do this and just ended up falling off the wall. So therefore I've decided to include lower body training in my development plan. Within this session I'll perform squats and assisted calf raise, deadlifts and quad flexors. My next session of the week will be where I will watch specific skill videos and make notes on how I can perform them. For example, I found that a weakness of mine was flagging, so therefore in this session I will watch a video on flagging and make notes on how I can perform them better. My final session of the week is where I will attend an open session. Within this session I should be looking to work on the skills that I picked up on from my one-on-one session with an instructor, and I will also work on flagging and look to implement the tips that I've learned from watching the video. My first session of week 4 will be another grip dynamometer test and an agility based session. Within this session I will perform the same agility exercises that I performed in the last session, but will be looking to perform them quicker and more precise. I will also be performing the grip dynamometer test again, looking to get better score than I did in the last test. My second session of the week will be another upper body training day. I will again within this session be looking to work on my upper body strength. I'll be performing pull-ups, sit-ups, tricep dips, T-bar row and lat pull-down. This is another back-based session because in order to be able to pull yourself up when bouldering, it requires a good level of back strength. My final session of the week is another open session. I am now 4 weeks into my bouldering development program, so I should be expecting to see some significant improvements in my bouldering skill set. I should be expecting to be finding the climbs that I found a lot harder to do on week 1 a lot easier to do, and should now be attempting the harder climbs. My upper body strength should now be improved and I should be able to stay on the rocks a lot easier without feeling fatigued. Within this open session I should be attempting the harder climbs that there is and should be looking to complete them without falling off. My first session of week 5 will be a lower body training day. Within the session I will be performing the same exercises that I did last week, but we will be looking to perform them for more reps and higher weight. My second session of the week will be my final agility shed grip dynamometer test. Within this session I will be looking to perform the same exercises as I did in my last agility session, but will also be looking to perform them a lot quicker and looking to be more agile than I was in my first session. I will also be performing the grip dynamometer test. My score on this test should now be significantly more than it was on the first week because I have completed multiple rock climbing sessions and multiple grip dynamometer tests. Therefore my grip should have improved a lot as a result of this. My final session of the week will be an upper body training day. I will be performing the same exercises I did last week, however will be looking to perform for more reps and more sets. In my first session of my final week, I'll be attending a National Rock Climbing Centre Taster Day. Within this session, I will look to further enhance my knowledge within climbing and will be looking to pick up from tips from the coaches there. I will also ask instructors on how to take me through a more challenging climb on the walls and will be asking him for specific tips on how to tackle these climbs. My final session of my development program will be where I will complete a free climb. Within this session I will be completing a set of challenging climbs on the walls where every single skill within my bouldering will be tested. Here I will really see what improvements I have done within bouldering and if I am able to complete these challenging climbs without falling off.